Welcome to the CEO Launch Podcast.
We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo bringing you personality, insights, and practical advice from two different generations of entrepreneurship.
We aren't just mother and daughter. We are also best friends and business partners.
I've watched my mom help thousands of entrepreneurs start the businesses of their dreams, including me. And now it's your turn.
Hello to our CEO Launch family. Welcome back to episode number 27. And today we are talking about the CEO legacy. And so we want to do something different since it was the holidays. We decided that we wanted to have a conversation around the person that we would like to say started it all. And so we wanted to make this kind of a tribute episode to someone that I affectionately call my grandmother, but she's actually my great grandmother. And if you followed me on social media, you've probably seen my post about her. I've even done a talk about it. But her name is Hattie Washington. And she was born in October 9th, 1913. So October 9th. 1913. I'm all stuck in the 2000s. She was not born in the 2000s. None of us were. So she was born October 9th, 1913. And one of the things that was the greatest blessing in my life is that she lived long enough to see Kenya. You were almost 10. You were like 9.5, right? When she passed away. We have so many great memories, and I know we probably will do another show about her because it's just not enough time to do one show about her and the influence that she had on our life. But what we did was we actually recorded an interview with our grandmothers. So we interviewed my mom, which is Kenya's grandma, and we interviewed my mom's mom, which is my grandma, kind of talking about the just some of the things we got from her. And so we could not air the entire interviews because they were just too long. And we like to keep these episodes short. But we're going to share a snippet of those interviews with you. And we hope that you enjoy them as much as we did.
Hey, Grandma.
Hey, Kenya Benya.
Also, only she could call me that. Don't get familiar, audience. But, Grandma, so today we're talking about just kind of our legacy as a family and things like that. And so we wanted to talk about Grandmama, who is your grandmother, my mama's great-grandmother, and my great-great-grandmother. And our family is kind of unique and fortunate in that we've all been able to kind of experience her in very different ways. Like, I knew her up until the age of 10, so I have some very vivid memories with Grandmama. And I wanted to ask, like, what's your favorite memory thinking about Grandma T's?
I think my favorite memory is when I was an adult, because I kind of don't really remember much for memory as a child. But I can remember and enjoy sitting and talking with her and listening to her tell stories for hours. She told the stories in such detail that it made you feel that you were there. So that would probably be my favorite long-time memory of her.
You know what? I would have to agree with you because I can remember like being a kid and hearing her tell the stories. I was like, oh God, is she telling this story again? But as I got older, I gained a greater appreciation for her storytelling abilities because Grandma could tell a story in a way that she was one of the best storytellers that I know. She would describe the yellow dress and the fields, and I was able to visualize things that I've never seen from her stories. So I would have to agree with you. She was a great storyteller.
Yeah, my favorite memory is actually a story. It's the possum story. And like you just said, Mom, like I clearly was not in South Carolina with her, and through every detail that she gave with that story about the possum on the stove, every time I look at my stove, I think about, oh my gosh, it's something about to come back to life on my stove top. But it was the way that she was able to just kind of capture you in those stories. And I just love hearing her talk. There were definitely times when I was younger with that kind of geeky accent, I wasn't able to get all of it. And I kind of look at you, Mom, like, what did she say? But just being able to listen and hear those things, like it was such a great experience. For you, Grandma, is there any particular story that like you remember that just kind of brings like warmth to your heart, or you like it's so funny or anything like that?
Probably not funny, but amazing, because she would always tell me the stories of how she worked the fields, and she could pick over 600 pounds of cotton a day.
Wow.
That to me was amazing, because I can't imagine picking 600 pounds of cotton in a month.
Right.
But
that's
she did.
Incredible.
Yeah,
that is really incredible.
She was just an amazing person. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking, and of course, in her fashion, I'm visualizing how many barrels or whatever the container is called that you put cotton in. How many of those does it take to be 600 pounds? Like, wow, that's
exactly.
amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome. So then, thinking about just like growing up with her and the different things, is there any particular lesson that you have learned from her in the past that you still keep with you today?
I think that story about the cotton, because she got up in the morning, she made breakfast, she got her kids ready, she went in the fields and she picked cotton, she came home, she cooked, and she got her kids ready for bed. You never went into her home back in those days and it wasn't clean. So I think I got from that a good work ethic. She went to work and she never complained. She did it every day for a minimal amount of money. So there were days that I went to work and didn't want to go to work, but I did complain. But I kept doing it because I knew if she could have done that for probably 50 cents, I could sure do it for the amount of money that I was making.
Yeah, she had an amazing work ethic. Oh my gosh. And that's a really good lesson. That's a good reminder for us, because I think that's something that a lot of times we lack. We get so comfortable in the things, the luxuries that we have, and we forget about the hard work that those that came before us actually did. I'm trying to think. She taught me so many lessons. I know, I did a whole presentation about her and all of the lessons that she taught. And one of the lessons that it just kind of jumps to me right now is when she said, manners will take you places that education won't.
Yes.
And she had that thing, like it was so funny, because I still say it even though I know it's not grammatically correct, but she says, I can't stand a no manners child. And so I feel like that, like
let you know.
Yes, like I feel like it. If I meet somebody's kid who doesn't have manners or who's disrespectful, I can hear my grandma saying, I can't stand a no manners child. And I just know, and I've experienced it for myself, how manners they do take you places that education doesn't. So that's one of my favorite lessons. And I don't know if I do have a favorite memory, but I'm gonna let you, Kenya, I'm gonna let you share a lesson that you learned from her, and then we could kind of talk about the memories.
I think a lot of my lessons have come from conversations with you all. Like my interactions with grandma were like, I would always be excited about going over her house. She would always be interested in what I was doing or like what I had going on. One of my memories outside of the possum story is I remember it was probably like 1998, 97, something like that. And Kurt Franklin had just come out with a new CD. And me being the PK that I was at the time was listening to gospel.
Wow.
I was also like 3. But I had my gospel music CD, and I had my CD player, and was playing my CD player, and you know, with the CD player, you had the headphones. Well, I guess they're not old now because we kind of came back into the headphones over your ear, but that was back in the day when it was like that cheap, like styrofoamy stuff on your ears and the headphones that could break you too in 2 seconds. And I would just be bopping to the music and singing the songs with my headphones on. And she was just like, "You like that song, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want to hear it?" And she was like, "No." But I like that you like it.
Answer the question.
Right. And so it was just like just interacting with her on those levels. I don't know. I always felt like my bond with grandma has made it so that I can interact with anybody of any generation. You know, like I can definitely rock with younger kids and little kids, and they love me. But I also love just kind of sitting in rooms with my elders and just listening to the wisdom that they have now. And so I would say retroactively, a lesson that I've learned from her is that storytelling piece, and that you carry on your legacy with the stories that you're able to tell and that you share with other people.
Yeah.
Because she was our go-to family historian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, "Grandma, who is this person?"
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was great.
And you was gonna say something. You would say something about a nickname.
You just had to know the person's nickname.
Oh, okay.
Because she didn't know anybody by their surname or their government name. We're not going to call any of the names, but she only knew the nicknames.
Right.
You had to know them.
Yeah, I can remember being young and she would say, "You know so-and-so," and I'm like, "Who is that?" You know, like, no, I don't know. And then you meet the person and you're like, "Well, what is your government name?"
Because nobody knows that.
So, I mean, I know we could probably stay on here and talk forever talking about her because she was such a huge influence in all of our lives, and we're just all so extremely grateful for the time that we have and the memories that we have of her. And I know for me, when I think about her, sometimes I get sad about the fact that she's not here, but I have so many memories and so many things that she taught me that I'm good, you know. So we have one more question for you, Mom, before we let you go, and we appreciate you being on our show today. So thinking about, like, you know, we all had that little entrepreneurial bug. You know, you had it, Grandma Weezy had it, and even Grandma had it. You know, she was the candy lady too. So let's speak about that. Like, I know it had to be her. She had to be the influence in that. And we all were candy sellers in school. I did it when I was in 5th grade, but mine was homemade candy. She would make the candy and I would take it to school and sell it. Oh, wow.
I remember the ones that she would make that had coconut in it. I would eat most of that before I got to school. But anyway, I did that for a while, and then the inspiration from it for me was that she would always say, if you do something that you love, you'll do it well. And I know when I started working, I didn't like working at the company that I worked 32 and a half years for. But I did it out of a need to take care of my family. And when I decided that I wanted to do printing and brochures and do that. It was because that was my love, and I enjoyed it. Not for pay, not for anything. I just enjoyed it. So I always remember her saying, if you do something that you love, you'll enjoy it. And I did. So I guess that kind of selling candy really wasn't going to be my thing. I knew that because I didn't like to haggle with people. But anyway.
I had no idea. So I actually learned something because I had no idea. Yeah. I remember you saying that you sold candy in elementary school, but I had no idea it was candy that Grandma made. So Grandma was holding out. She ain't never shared me. Yep. She never shared the candy recipe with me.
Nah. Yep. She used to make candy and wrap it and put it in my lunchbox, and off to school I went. And I got my little 5 cents, 3 cents, never 10 cents. Most of the candy was 2 or 3 cents.
Wow.
But you made your little hustle. That is so awesome. So, yeah, this was awesome. This was really good.
This is a 3-generation candy school selling family.
And Grandma sold candy, so.
Right.
She became the candy lady.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to write a handbook so that we can let my kids know what they need to do to make this candy empire.
For the next level.
You know, we got recipes and all of that stuff. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, but it's going to be virtual, so I don't know how that's going to work.
But yeah, this was great. So thanks, Mom. We really appreciate you being our guest today. Yeah, this was fun. Ken, you got anything else to say before we wrap it up?
No, this was great. I really enjoyed this. I learned a lot. We're going to have to talk some more, Grandma.
Off the recording. Yeah, we'll talk.
Same number. Call me anytime. Listen, it was very exciting, ladies. Y'all have a nice evening.
Okay.
You too.
She always try to tell you the right thing to do. The Lord was good to her and her kids, grandkids, great-grand, and great-great-grand. She was a good grandma. Hattie had a good life, and all of her kids who wanted to have a good life. All of her grands who wanted to have a good life. All of her great-grands who wanted to have a good life. All the great-great-grands.
That was such a great conversation with our grandmothers. You know, my entire life, I have always felt grateful that I got to know 3 of my grandmothers, and just getting the opportunity to honor my Grandma T's, who you probably heard her being called a lot of names. We call her Grandma T's, Grandmama, Mama, all of those things. Just knowing how much she had an impact on all of our lives is so special to me, and something that I'm happy to be able to carry on. When I start having my own little legacies, aka kids, aka liabilities, aka legacies, we'll go back to legacies of my own. But we want you to take away that the CEO legacy, especially in the tradition of our blood, has looked a lot of different ways. And we are so proud to be a part of a family unit of very strong and independent women who have supported themselves throughout a lifetime through creative enterprises, and just knowing that that's something that was just the start of it. Like, that was just one of the many, many stories that are within our family tree. Is just something that excites me. And so I hope it excites you. During this holiday season, please take some time to go call your grandmother and ask her some questions about what she was doing when she was 20, or how your cousin is your cousin even though they're not your cousin, and all of that. And just have conversations with your elders to understand who your family is, where you come from, and just being super grateful about it. So we want to wish you all a happy holidays, and enjoy your family, enjoy yourself, be safe. We know that times are a little bit crazy right now, but we want you all to stay safe. And you know the drill. If you're not on the Efficient CEO Facebook page, please join it. and follow us on all of the social media so that you can stay in touch. And we will see you next week for our final episode of the season.
And don't forget to take off.
This is a Clearwood production.